the dark secret to get all your fucking desires that self-improvement didn't teach you. It's gonna be a long ass video, probably. And it's not gonna be very edited. Maybe not even. It's gonna depend on what I want. But whether you watch it in one go or you take your time with it and you go back to it, over the days, it will teach you some incredible, invaluable information about how you can get everything you want in your life. So if you're ready for this, let's get it. So, first of all, I'm gonna tell you the stuff that's gonna be in the video. One is gonna be how the universe works. Plus the fabric of the universe. I talked about the fabric of the universe in the last video, but I'll mention it again because it's important still. Second, it was, right, density of matter and thought density. I know right now some of that stuff doesn't make any sense, all right? It's gibberish. But when you're gonna, it's just to tell you, it's deep stuff, okay? It's stuff, if you learn this, and don't worry, I'm gonna explain it in a simple way. I'm gonna explain it in a very, comprehensible way. But if you learn this stuff, I guarantee you're not gonna see the world the same way after that. And the last one is how to use thought control. Now, thought control is not the way it sounds, okay? It's not fucking how psychokinesis or something. You're not gonna move object with your mind or anything, But as you've seen, the theme, the big theme of this video is thoughts. Because in self-improvement, a lot of people talk to you about, the mindset and how you should care about the way you think. But they don't understand why it's so important. So today, this part is going to be explaining to you why your thoughts are so important. Then it's going to explain to you why your thoughts aren't actually just thoughts. Your thoughts create matter. You're going to see it's insane shit. And finally, I'm going to teach you how to control your thoughts in the best way possible so that your world is going to create itself in the way you want it. You're going to see, you're going to see. All right, so one, universe and its fabric. Chapter 1. First, how does the universe work? If you're religious or if you're a science guy, you're gonna be fucking pissed. You might want to leave the video right now. If you're not ready to have your beliefs challenged, get out, man. That's your cue. All right, if you're still here, I'm assuming you're a researcher of life, like me, right? So, what I've been learning, and that has been making a lot of sense compared to all the stuff I've been learning before, is that our world might be regulated by a being. Of course, God, right? We call it God, we call it the infinite, we call it the universe. But this being, the way I've learned it now is called the universal subconscious mind. Of course, it's an infinite being, but since it's infinite, it doesn't have a real sense of being, because in order, for example, to know who I am, I need to have this body. I know I'm Idriss, I know I'm French, I know I'm half Moroccan. It's Arab for you US people who don't know the geography. And if you're infinite, you can't say really who you are, because if you're infinite, you can't say I'm a table, or I'm a horse, or I'm a human, because you're all of these things at the same time. So God, in order to know itself better, again, universal subconscious mind, is God, okay? In order to know itself better, incarnates into everything. What that led to is that this everything ended up evolving in different ways. So like there's some stuff that ended up as a tree, some stuff that ended up as a rock, some that ended up as a human. For example, if you follow the rules of like the whole, you know, theory of evolution, at first we were like microbes, and then we became a sort of like little you know, like the baby frog or something. I don't remember how you call it. You know, like that looks like a sperm. Then we became fucking weird lizards, and then mammals, and then primates, and then humans. You can believe it or not, who cares? But it makes sense in that sorry. It makes sense in that way because what happens is every time there was, like, for example, we were a jellyfish at some point. But at some point in the evolution chain, one of those jellyfishes started making different choices, and those choices led to it evolving and changing in form. How could I explain it better? Everything from the tree to the rock to the human is made of intelligence. God's intelligence. Just imagine the world as just God's brain, right? It's like everything that exists that you see in front of you was an idea coming from God, coming from the universal subconscious mind. What that means is it's made of intelligence. This intelligence, at some point or the other, evolved to become, let's say, an atom. This atom vibrates on a certain frequency. An atom is conscious because it is made of intelligence, which comes from the universal subconscious mind. The universal subconscious mind, God, is alive. Therefore, an atom is alive. This atom doesn't have self-consciousness, which means, you know, having actual thoughts and having actual, you know, making choices like that are out of the regular path, let's say that. You know, you don't question your choices. But it has consciousness, which means it has choices. And what it chooses to do is to assemble, let's say, okay, I'm not the best at chemistry, so I'm not gonna have the proper letters probably. I'm just gonna make random letters, okay? Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like Ne or something, nitrogen, like, I'm not sure. I don't know, H2O, whatever, right? H2O, I don't remember, okay? Let's say this atom, I don't know, it's a random atom. I don't care to name it. But it has a few choices. There's this thing that's made of those three atoms. When this atom sees those three, it can decide whether it wants to bind to one of them or not. Sometimes it binds to several, but let's say this atom decides to bind to hydrogen. I think that's hydrogen, right? Now, this hydrogen atom that's been linked to this other hydrogen atom, let's say they were both that way, has again a choice. Again, it's hydrogen and blah, blah, and blah, blah. And it decides again to go with hydrogen. Now you have fucking 3 hydrogen atoms. Again, my science isn't the best. I'm just trying to explain it, okay? What that means is the consciousness of this atom allows it to choose who it wants to bind with. And down the line, it ends up forming matter. And this matter ends up becoming everything. And that's why everything has different forms. But at the base of it, everything is intelligence. I'm going to go back to this, okay? I'm going to explain it in a bit more detail later on in the second phase, like the whole thought thing. But since it all comes from intelligence, we can then assume the fabric of the universe is God itself. God itself is making up the whole universe. What does that mean? That means, first of all, you are God. You're made of his fucking intelligence. Like everything is made from the same fucking intelligence. What that means is you, the person next to you, the fucking bench, the fucking air around you that you don't even see, all of it is made from the same base, intelligence, which we could just amalgamate to energy, right? Pure energy. Now that you know the fabric of the universe and you know how the universe works, which is God that basically thinks up stuff, makes them happen, and then gains more self-consciousness by inhabiting people, by incarnating people, because yes, like God is inside of you, literally. Like what I mean is, in order to know itself better, it incarnates into finite things, because if he stays infinite, he can't know himself better. You get that? All right. I will maybe explain it better at some point if you don't understand it. But I myself need some more understanding on this, right? I still need to study this a bit more. But I wanted to first put this view of the universe on paper so that we're on the same page. You can agree, you can disagree. If you have any questions now or later on the video, you leave it in the comments and I'll answer it in the comment right away, or I'll do it in another video. We'll see. But can we agree it's fucking exciting to think that way? That we are actually God? It's pretty fucking cool. It's better than thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go to paradise, I'm gonna go to hell. But then even if you go to paradise, like you're probably not gonna be a saint or you're not gonna be a prophet. So you're not gonna be in the VIP club, right? You're gonna be a fucking extra in heaven. And if you don't go to heaven, then you're fucking fucked. You go to hell. We're out here, we're like 30, like 20, 30 years old, and we're already fucking struggling. And we're not that happy, like, we're okay, you know what I mean? But we're not that happy. That's why you're watching this video, right? You want to be God mode. And now you imagine hell, fucking burning every day. Even in Islam, like in Islam, it's fucking 69 to 70 years of hell. Like max, of course, max, but if you're a believer. If you're not a believer, you're staying there for eternity. Whew, that's tough. Anyway, I prefer that vision. Like, you can tell me, like, oh, you just want to believe what you want to believe. Of course I do. Plus, it makes sense. Come on. It makes more sense. Like, a devil. God is going to create a devil to tempt us. That's a story for another time. Let's not. Okay. Density of matter. And I'm born Muslim, okay? So I'm not like one of those people who just born atheist and he thinks he has like fucking crazy ideas of not believing, but when he's just born that way. I'm born Muslim. And I've been questioning that shit. And you might have questioned it at some point as well. Let's be real. Density of matter and thought density. Now, there you go. So as I've said it just before, the way atoms work is that they bind to other atoms. And as they bind to other atoms to a certain level, they form matter. So it can be liquid, it can be solid, it can be gas, whatever it is, right? But it's gonna form matter at some point, right? With enough atoms, let's say that's a little atom, right? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Boom, it forms a little cube. Let's say it becomes big enough, it gathers enough atoms, and now it becomes a fucking rock. However, before it becomes that rock, it's probably going to be something more like sand, right? Sediment, little grain. You might still be able to see it, but it's really, really fucking small. When it's even smaller, sorry, literal, my grammar. When it's even smaller, when it's an atom, you can't see it, can you? Yet it's still there, right? What I'm trying to say by this is that, let's say, for example, there was a population, let's say on another planet, that is thousands of times denser than us. They have thousands of times more atoms, right? A bigger body, like they're so much fucking bigger, so much like denser. They probably would not be able to see us. They could like fucking step on us and they wouldn't even notice. We wouldn't even be as small as ants. We'd be smaller than that. They wouldn't be able to see us without microscopes. We would be the equivalent of an atom. Well, if you can't see an atom, but it exists, what about thoughts? What if a thought was simply the same thing as an atom? It was just not dense enough to be seen yet. But we've established already that atoms, like everything that's been created, are conscious. And this consciousness allows them to make a choice. If thoughts are the same as atoms, therefore they can attract atoms. I know, like you're starting, like it's starting to get in your brain. You're like, oh shit, he's cooking. If, let's say, you have a thought about money, and you keep having those positive thoughts, the frequency that you're gonna, let's put it that way. It's better. Let's put it. Thought of money. There you go. Thought of money. And there you go. That's the frequency of your thought. Then this atom, let's say that's an atom of money. I know it doesn't make sense scientifically, but wait for me. Is it going to bind to something about love? No. Is it going to bind to something about fitness? How could I? Wait, I'm going to put a dumbbell. There you go. Is it going to bind to a fitness atom? No. It's going to bind to a money atom. What is a money atom? It's this guy. You're creating atoms linked to money. And because it has this frequency, it attracts other atoms that are linked to money. And when I mean money, I mean success, I mean status, I mean like anything linked to success and prosperity, right? And the more you think, let's say you multiply it now by 10. Every day you think 10 times about positive thoughts about money. Now by 100, by 1,000, by 10,000. You have fucking 10,000 thoughts about money, which means probably much you're thinking all day about prosperity, right? You think you're prosper all the time. Then the frequency will be so strong that it will attract, I don't know, let's say 10K atoms of money. It will attract them. And now, this thought that was way too small to be seen until now grows exponentially because the 10K atoms are filling it up, are making it more solid, making it more dense. More atoms, more atoms, more atoms. And more. Again and again and again and again and again. Until it becomes big enough to actually be seen. Does it make sense? I hope it does, because it made sense to me. So, thoughts are not this imaginary thing. When people tell you like stop being in your head, be in reality, blah blah, thoughts are the beginning of everything. Because thoughts are just intelligence, as I've said, pure intelligence from God, that then solidify by attracting atoms, attracting center of life force. There's a way center of life force because it's structured that way. Like there's a nucleus and there's something around it. So like center of life force, and it turns blah blah. It attracts center of life force, which gather, and as they gather, as I've shown before, become more dense. And once it reaches enough density, become visible to the eye, it becomes touchable by you. Just in the analogy of the giant people who are so dense that they can't see you, if you were to become denser and denser and denser and denser, at some point they would be able to see you. It's the same thing with your thought. I hope it's clear. If it's not, you just, again, let me know in the comments. But this shit, when I discovered this, I was mind blown. All right. Now, onto the thought control. Because now that I've told you how thoughts work and how they materialize into reality, it's time to understand how to control them so that you can have that 10K. Because if you have only one positive thoughts in the day and then the rest of the time you're just imagining negative shit, it's just not going to happen. The reverse is going to happen, because if you have 10K negative thoughts, that's the stuff that's going to materialize. And you'll be like it's going to be dense enough to be seen, but it's not going to be what you want. Instead, it's going to be fucking poverty, because you've been thinking negative shit. So, thought control. You might have been thinking until now that your thoughts were, as I've just said it, yours. But it's not entirely true. It's not true at all, actually. Thoughts simply come from the universal subconscious mind. Did I write it? Whoa, subconscious. Whoa. I hope I didn't make that mistake the last time I wrote it. Subconscious. There you go. /God. It might have happened to you at some point in your life. I know it happened to me a bunch. Where you're doing something. I don't know, you're watching a movie, you're with someone from family or whatever. And this absolutely crazy thoughts come into your mind. Crazy. Sometimes it's disgusting, sometimes it's just random, sometimes it's revolting. You're like, what the fuck? I'm so fucked up. Why did I think that? Well, because it doesn't come from you. It's like you might have been simply thinking about, I don't know, like inappropriate shit. Like you're just thinking like, I don't know why, but this situation makes me think of something inappropriate. And then the thought comes in. And now it becomes, like words or like an image. The reason why is because your thoughts are dominated by your will. Now you might say, oh, duh, but listen to me. You don't will specific thoughts come in. You're not like trying to actually form the sentence yourself. What happens is, for example, you want positive thoughts. Well, let's go with negative, because apparently people are more like keep the attention better when you talk about negative shit. I don't know. Maybe that's not something I should do, but who cares? Yeah, you're gonna get good shit at this video anyway. Let's say you want to think about something negative. Maybe you don't want it, but let's say you're walking in the street and you see this random guy looking at you weird. Instantly, the weirdness of it, like the aggression of it, makes you think about negative shit. The impulse wasn't conscious necessarily. You didn't necessarily put the conscious thought of saying, I want to think about negative shit. But still, the negative shit now, the impulse is launched. So now you've made an ask to the universal subconscious mind to send you negative thoughts. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna imagine a fight. You're gonna imagine an insult. I don't know. You're gonna imagine fucking like doing crazy shit, like shooting him, whatever it is, right? Like the most random shit. And from there, you're gonna have a bunch of words that are gonna happen. You're gonna have a bunch of emotions, all that kind of shit, right? And it's gonna multiply, because once you get emotion, then you're not even thinking about what's going on around now. Now you're just in your fantasy, straight on. And what that does is, it multiplies thoughts. So once you're there, once you have the emotions, once you have the negative, you're pretty much fucked. You're like, now I'm in this, I'm just thinking. But truth be told, it's just about realizing you're having negative thoughts and willing yourself back to positive shit. Because once you understand that those thoughts are not yours, but the universe subconscious minds, you understand they're just a stream that's been sent because of the will, conscious or unconscious, that you had before. Then you can realize, okay, like it's not me saying those things. It's not me living this. It's just a fucking movie in front of my eyes that's just, going through my eyes. When you realize that, you can just say, okay, let's take away the movie, put a better one in front of me. That's about it. If your imagination is imagination, but now you realize that, it influences actually reality, then just change the movie in front of your eyes. Make it positive. You have a choice. Either, I don't know, the guy was looking at you weird. You imagine maybe you had a booger and he was hesitating to tell you. I don't know. Or you imagine he wanted to be your friend. Or straight up, you just think about something else. You think about, I don't know, like the party you're gonna go at that night. You think about the game you're gonna have with your boys. Whatever it is, positive shit. You just have to will it. Let me check if I haven't forgotten anything. No, that's about it. The only thing you're responsible for, the only thing, everything else in your life is going to be taken care of by universal subconscious mind. You ask it something, it does it for you. Okay? That doesn't mean you don't have to take action. What that means is it's going to pave the path and make action enjoyable. But in order to get there, your only responsibility is for your flow of thoughts. And to control your flow of thoughts, you have to use your will. So simply by willpower, you decide, okay, let's think positive shit. And I swear to you, you say let's think positive, and something random positive is gonna pop up in your mind. For example, when I go back to the living room, I tend to imagine my father kind of berating me about something, telling me, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. And most of the time when I think that, fucking happens. So recently, I told myself, you know what? Instead, let's imagine my dad laughing, because my dad has a beautiful smile. When he laughs, his face fucking shines, right? Like, some people really, when they smile, when they laugh, it changes their whole personality. And so imagine that instead, and it happens way less. Like my dad now, like we almost don't get any trouble when I just go up. We just talk. I still could do some effort on my part, but hey, I'm not a very filial son, so it is what it is. So that's about it. You control your thoughts, and the fucking universe will bow down to you, sorry. Because again, you're fucking God. God equals you. I'm gonna go more in depth into this concept at some point, because I think it deserves to be explained more and more. But basically, you're just an incarnation of God. Like behind your ego, behind the personality that you've built up over the years, God is just watching, is just observing stuff that's happening, just to know himself better. That's pretty crazy. My goal personally is to just try and get rid of the ego so that I can become God while I'm still in this body. Because if you achieve this, I mean, God has no limitation, so I could do some crazy shit. If I do it, you're probably gonna see my personality change a little bit. But hey, I'm gonna be able to teach you even better stuff. So hey. All right, so that's about it for today. Take care, man. No, wait, I gotta do my jingle. Right. Work on the inside, and the outside will follow. Take care, man. The journey. Hiya.